like a nice road, very windy, hilly. Listen to a couple good songs as you're going into town, and that was kind of what we did growing up. Yeah, we were probably maybe one of 3 or 4 black families that lived in this town, and we were welcomed, you know. The whole time I lived in Massachusetts, and really almost to this day, I have never been to Boston. And at the time, my parents were scared of going into Boston. They said it was just a very, very racist place, and they steered clear of it. They didn't want any of us to go there. And so I never did. And, you know, I kind of wished I had. I know a lot of people talk about how beautiful Boston is, and it's really nice, and just no experience. And when I lived in Illinois, we had gone into Chicago. When I lived in California, this is around Oakland, we've gone into Oakland and San Francisco, but we never went into Boston. And that was just the age. I mean, it was, you know, late 70s, getting into the 80s. And today, you know, you wouldn't really think twice about it, but I've looked at some of the Facebook comments and stuff for this town, and there are other people who talk about the racism that has existed in this area. And you know, it's not out in the open, but it's there. But I never really felt it directly. I shouldn't say that. You know, yes, as a kid, I was in fights. And almost every fight I've ever been in my life is because someone called me like the N-word or something. And I would just kick the shit out of them. All right, we're into the center of town. Over here on my right is the town common, which is where they would have like the Apple Blossom Festival, like this town-wide yard sales and everything. Oh, so much fun. It's still there. Oh my God, thank you. The general store. I was afraid. I didn't see it on the map. That was like the only big store. I'm going to go in there later on. In the town. Maybe a little restaurant. This is over here, like this old cemetery with like headstones going back to the Revolutionary War. Library, but it used to be a small part. It used to be the school where I had my art classes and typing. And over across here used to be like the middle school, elementary school. So they're doing a lot of construction for that. I'm gonna go to the town pond. The library when I was here used to be in a different place. Yeah, this field, you can see the back of the school. That's where the school's soccer field is and everything. And you can see like the swampy part of the pond. And the pond is where we would go almost every day in the summer. You know, residents or taxpayers only, so clearly I can't go. Oh well. It would have been nice. Had so much fun here. I can just smell the water. They probably don't open up until like noon time. Yeah, boat launch. Some of the smaller islands out there. You know what? I'm gonna turn around. See if I get a good look. Yeah, those rafts. Oh wow, they're still there. Wow, there's even 3 of them further out. In the winter time, this pond would freeze over, and some kids in high school, I'm guessing they, and I'm using air quotes, borrow their parents' car and would drive out onto the pond and have parties, like fires on the ice. And it scared the crap out of me. You know, my brother went once and I was terrified because, well, you know, in your mind, like, a car is going to break through the ice, and you're having a fire on the ice, it's weakening the ice, and you're going to die, and, you know, it didn't happen, but still. It's a really beautiful pond. I like to get on a boat and go out there, rowboat, motorboat, swim out here. So much fun. Playground area is new and different. Yeah, you got to get here early to get a parking lot, get a place to park. And I think I was saying before, this is where I also had 2 cases of sinusitis. I've got really bad allergies and sinus problems. And I love swimming. I love swimming underwater. And somehow the change in the pressure did something to my sinuses, and they started to fill but wouldn't release. And so my sinus cavities just got filled with this fluid, and then I got bacteria in there or something, and it started to get infected. Oh, it was like a splitting migraine headache, and I was in the hospital, and they were treating it with antibiotics. And if the antibiotics didn't work, they literally were going to have to drill into my skull, just above my eye, put in a tube and drain it that way. And fortunately, the antibiotics worked. So I was in the hospital for about a week. You know, my mom was like, just in agony, thinking that her son was going to die or something. And when I was out, you know, and I got recovered, we went back to the pond, but I was under strict orders. My mom and doctor were like, don't swim, don't go underwater. I'm like, yeah. And of course I get there, and what do? I just dive underwater because I thought, what's the worst that can happen? I got sick again, back into the hospital. My mom was pissed. Yeah. All right, let's go into the general store. It's such a while. Transferred from all my cameras to